What's up everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, I will cover the installation of the Fitness Reality lat pull-down attachment for the 810 XLT Supermax Power Cage. I will make two separate videos for this attachment. This video, which is a step-by-step installation of the kit, and a second video, which will be an in-depth review showing all of the features and pros and cons after becoming familiar with the kit thoroughly after regular use. I will put a link down in the video description when it's available. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe for more how-to and review videos. Now, let's get started. When investigating this kit, I read several reviews saying that the assembly was challenging and the instructions were difficult to follow. So, I figured I'd make an assembly video to help people out. Whether you find the instructions easy or difficult to follow, this video will help you ram through the installation faster and easier. So, here we are. We have the Fitness Reality lat pull-down attachment kit for the 810 XLT Supermax Power Cage. To prepare, let's open up the box and move the cage forward. This is what the box looks like. And now we have room behind the cage to install it. Then, remove the contents from the box. And here are the contents. Everything is well packaged, wrapped individually in plastic, and cardboard where needed. Let's remove all the packaging so we can get started. And here's the complete kit, ready to install. But first, really quick, the kit comes with the required tools, but the wrenches are sheet metal and provide the minimum requirement. You can significantly reduce the assembly time by using a socket wrench or a driver. You'll need a 17mm socket and wrench, a 13mm socket and wrench, and a 6mm hex. First, loosen all the bolts on the top rear crossbar. Next, remove the bottom rear crossbar and set it aside because it will be used later. And the brackets and hardware that held it in place will not be reused. These are extra. You can do whatever you want with them. Next, install the new rear lower crossbar. There's a sticker on it pointing up, so you know which orientation to put it in. And the bolts are inserted from the inside, with the nuts on the outside. But just get them started, don't tighten them all the way down. And just to point out for comparison, here's the old bar in place. The new bar is lower and farther out. Just thought I would point that out, in case you're worried about clearances or something. Next, it's time to bring in the main frame and secure it with a metal plate. It is secured with 5 bolts, one long bolt in the center, and bolts, washers, and nuts on the 4 corners. The bolts go from the inside to the outside, with the nuts on the outside. And just start them, don't tighten them down. Next, install the spring clips onto the slider, and then the slider onto the sliding bar. And note the orientation. The holes at the end of the sliding bar are up. Now, slip the upper pipe assembly into the sliding bar. Here's a close-up. Just slide it all the way in. Now, pick up the slider bar assembly and slip the bottom of the sliding bar onto the post on the main frame. The upper pipe assembly will be below the pull-up bar, but we'll slide it up later and attach it to the pull-up bar. Next is the stopper plate. Just set it in place, then secure it with 2 bolts. The bolts go from the inside to the outside, with the nuts on the outside. But just get the nuts started, don't fully tighten them down. Now push the upper pipe assembly up until the end is touching the pull-up bar. Then install the 2 bolts through the vertical slider bar, and the bolts go from the inside to the outside, with the nuts on the outside. But just get them started, don't tighten them down yet. Next, use another clamping plate to attach the upper pipe assembly to the pull-up bar. Again, there are 5 bolts, one long bolt in the center, and then bolts with washers and nuts on the 4 corners. And don't tighten them all the way, just get them started. And now it's time for the support bar. Connect it to the upper pipe assembly using 2 bolts with washers and nuts. The bolts are inserted into the left side with the nuts on the right side. And just get them started, don't tighten them all the way down. Also, there are 2 different mounting hole options depending on the model and serial number of your cage. For mine, I'm using the upper holes and the rear holes. Now secure the other end to the upper crossbar. Same procedure. Use the clamping plate, 5 bolts, the long one in the center, and the bolts, nuts, and washers on the four corners. The bolts go from the front to the back, with the nuts on the back. This is the last one of these, there's only 3, and don't tighten them all the way, just get them started. Now give it a shake, so everything aligns and settles into place. Then, finally, tighten down all the bolts. All those bolts that we've just got started but not fully tightened, it's time to tighten them. Let's lock it all in. Then we just need to install the pulleys and cables. Pre-route the first cable, cable 10, like this. We've got the chain connected to cable 10. It goes up through the hole, across the top, down through the first hole, looping back up through the second hole, back down, and connected to the slider with a carabiner. Now pre-route the second cable, cable number 9. Just route it between these 2 pulley brackets and connect the chain to the end. Now we just install the pulleys. Start with the 2 wide groove pulleys. The first one goes here, with the cable below it. Just stick the bolt through and tighten down the nut, but don't over tighten it. You don't want to pinch the pulley so it doesn't move. It should spin freely. And the second wide groove pulley goes here at the top, with the cable above it, and the procedure to install it is the same. These 2 wide groove pulleys are the only 2 special ones. The remaining 5 are all the same, so they're interchangeable. Moving along the top, let's install these 2. These 2 require bushings. Insert the bushings in each side. Then this first pulley has the cable go above it. And the second pulley also has the cable routed above it. Then tighten down the nuts, but not too tight. The pulleys need to rotate freely. Moving to the bottom, install just 1 pulley with the cable below it. No bushings required. Now we're nearly at the end. Install this pulley between these 2 pulley plates. Use the single hole at the top. Then set it into the cable loop hanging from the top pulleys. Time for the final pulley. Install it with the lower cable on top of it, and use the center holes in the brackets. Next, connect the end of the lower cable to the anchor point with the carabiner. And install the last carabiner onto the front end of the lower cable. Now for the attachments. Connect the curl bar to the end of the lower cable. And connect the lat pull-down bar to the chain up on the top cable. And the lat pull-down bar can be placed in the storage hooks. Last is the leg hold-down bar assembly. Get the old lower crossbar that was removed and set aside earlier. Install a bracket on each end, 3 screws on each side. Then install the cushion pads, which consists of a foam roller with a foam Velcro wrap. And last, install the leg hold down into the cage. Slide a safety bar through each end. So, that completes the installation per the instructions. Hopefully this will speed up the process for you. I'll begin putting this to work immediately, and I will have a detailed review video for you in the near future. But I'll tell you right now, this is outstanding and I highly recommend it. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you found it helpful. Subscribe for more how-to and review videos. Drop any comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.